by Shirley Towson. So first of all, I would like to tell you why I have given these two pictures. This is a photo frame. Uh, the poet has used a word for photograph of cardboard. Cardboard is a stiff paper which is used to paste the photograph, and we just keep it in frame. And this is a photograph of three girls, the poetess mother and her two cousins, who went for a paddling at sea beach. Now I'm telling you about the poetess Shirley Tolson. 1924 to 2018, Shirley was an English writer, poet, journalist, and local politician. The poem of photograph is composed by her. In this poem, she recollects the memory of her past mother and refreshes the memory of her mother's past holiday at sea beach with her two cousins. Her mother went for a holiday at sea beach, and this poem is based on that. The poetess remembers the past holiday, that holiday, by seeing the photograph of her mother. So at the sea beach with her two cousins while looking at a childhood photograph. The poetess is looking at the photograph of a childhood of her mother and what kinds of feelings come to in her mind. So let's see in the poem. A photograph. A cardboard shows me how when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands. The poetess says that cardboard shows. She's just looking at the photograph. Cardboard is here used for a stiff paper, which has the photograph of her mother. So it shows to her by seeing the photograph, the poet says that she finds in the photograph that how her mother with the two girl cousins went paddling. Her mother went shallow for a walk on shallow water at the seaside during a holiday, and she was accompanied by two girl cousins, each one holding one of my mother's hand. The poet further says that each of the cousins holding one of my mother's hand. Her mother's hand, the mother was the eldest one. So both the girl cousins were holding the hands of her mother. And she, the big girl, the poetess says the mother was a big girl, was elder, and some 12 years also. And her age in this photograph appears as she is of 12 years of age. All three stood still. The poet says that they all were in still position. They were not, there were not any movement seen in the photograph to smile through their hair. So the photograph shows that they were smiling and the sea beach air was at its full swing, so their hair was scattered all around their faces. At the uncle with the camera, and they stood still to be photographed by uncle. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. The poetess says this photograph was taken when she was not born. She finds that her mother's face is very sweet, she is very pretty, and the sea, which appears to have changed less. Now the poetess says the sea, which is in the photograph, that appears her almost the same. There is no changes there. So the poetess has taken the sea as a symbol of the universal thing that they are not subject to decay. So the sea, it is immortal, and so it appears without any change to the poetess. Washed their terribly transient feet. Now the poetess says that terribly means very, transient means very temporary. So when they went for paddling, their feet imprints, their feet imprints were washed away by the waves of the sea. So they are symbol, these transient feet, very temporary feet, imprints of the feet here tells that life of human being is mortal and that is subject to decay. Everyone has to departure from this earth, from this world, as everyone faces the death. Some 20, 30 years later, now the poetess says, some 30 years later, her mother had laughed at the snapshot. While her mother looked at the photograph, and she felt very much assumed, she felt very much happy, and she, Betty and Dolly, she would say. And she said to her daughter that, see the photograph of the two girl cousins. The cousins were Betty and Dolly. She would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. Now, here we feel that she mocked at the photograph, seeing the photograph, and she indicated, pointed out towards the photograph and showed it to her daughter and mocked and enjoyed the photograph. Okay, that how they were dressed for that holiday at sea beach. The sea holiday was her past. Now the poetess says that sea holiday was her mother's past. Mine is her laughter. And the laughter of her mother was her past. Poetess past. Both right. Poetess says both changed because the mother has died. So both the past changed with the labored ease of loss, which they achieved with very much labor, with very much difficulty, ease of loss, and they very easily passed away because her mother has died. Now, the poetess has used two words which are contradictory in meaning: labored, which achieved with difficulty, ease, lost very easily. So, these two words are contradictory here. They are giving different kind of feelings. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Now the poetess says that her mother has died. And almost, nearly means almost 12 years have passed. And of this circumstance, and now the poetess says that at this situation, there is nothing to say at all. She feels very much depressed. She's very much in pain at the remembrance of her mother while she recollects the past memory through the photograph. She is very much in pensive mood and she feels very much pain and she feels that she has not any words to express her pain. So she says there is nothing to say at all now. She does not have anything to express anything in words. It's silence because mother has died. And the silence, stillness of the photograph has made her completely silent. Its stillness prevents her from speaking, and she feels that this silence compels her not to speak any word. It just makes her wordless, speechless, because the poetess is in very much pain. Now, let us take a view at poetic devices. First is symbol, a thing that represents something else. So transient feet, very transient feet, terribly transient feet means very temporary imprints of feet, temporary imprint of feet on sand. They indicate, they are symbol of they are symbol of mortal life. Human existence is not permanent. They show that human existence is subject to decay. Now the sea, which is another symbol of a universal thing that is immortal, remains permanently, which poetess finds that it appears the same. It has less changed. So it remains permanently. Whatever the thing of universe, that remains unchanged because it is immortal. Now, metonymy, a word standing for another word. The poetess has used a word cardboard in place of photograph. So this is an example of metonymy. Oxymoron, contradictory ideas. If we find contradictory ideas and opposite meaning in the two words, then they become the example of oxymoron. Labored, both the words have different meaning. Labored means which achieved with difficulty. Ease means very easy. So this is an example of oxymoron. Internal rhyming, rhyme that occurs within a single line. So these two words here occurs in same line and they are having the same sound, theo, here. Alteration, occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of closely connected words. So these three words are closely connected and the first letter is S and of the first word and second word is still its first letter is also S and third word is smile and its first letter is also S. So the letter is being repeated and the sound is of S, so it is an example of alteration. Next, terribly transient. So first word has first letter T and the second word is transient, its first letter is T and both are having same letters and same sound T, terribly transient. So this is another example of alteration where there is repetition of same sound and same letter. Imagery, invoke our one of our five senses. So it evokes the sight when we read these words, went paddling. So we feel that we are walking on the shallow water of the sea. So the, the scene appears almost in front of our eyes. So this is the example of image. You can see the summary and question answers in the description. I will also give you another video with explanation of summary and question answers in it. Thank you. Bye-bye.